even you said, Brian, it was Stoops who allowed the defense to fall apart under his watch. Okay. He brought little brother Mike back to town. And in that time, he's pushed Brent to Clemson and into the loving arms of old Dabo Swinney. Okay. Lincoln's hire as head coach perpetuated the problem. It made them appear a lot less serious because of the way his quarterbacks could take apart an opposing defense. That is, of course, unless it's an SEC or Clemson defense led by Venables in the college football playoff.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome back to the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you're definitely in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so that you do not miss one moment of the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Hey, guys, I just wanted to thank our friend Jalen Posey from the JP and Trav show right here on YouTube for being a guest the other day on the show. I thought the show went really well, and he made a lot of good points. I loved the fact that he had the poll up to begin with, as we talked about in that video, and the video is doing very well. And so I just wanted to say thank you to JP. Generally, folks, I'm pretty good with back and forth stuff on these videos. Guys, we do it all the time. People that come in the comments and talk about that, about what we're saying, they don't necessarily agree with this, blah, blah, blah. I'm good with that. I'm good. In fact, we generally will go back and forth with you in the comments section too, as long as you're not getting, real personal or something stupid. And I pretty much figured, because I saw it on Twitter before all that, and the fact that there are folks out there that think that it's time already to go ahead and get rid of Venables, I figured that we would get some flack about this one. And that's fine. I've kind of went back and forth with a few different people on that as well, which doesn't really bother me. But there was one that there's one guy that was kind of commenting a lot, right? Making little comments here and there about Venables, keeps calling him old and stuff like that for being a first-year head coach. I mean, he's 50. I guess it's older than a lot of the guys that are out there, but I mean, there's a lot of little different barbs that he kind of keeps throwing at Coach BV. And I think a lot of it's kind of unfair, but I kind of did want to unpack some of it. One of the remarks, the guy's name is Brian Wiley, but he was responding to another commenter that we have on the video. While he was kind of agreeing with us on saying that, hey, some of you fans need to kind of cut BV some slack, but he felt like some of the defensive issues were falling onto Ted Roof. He agreed with us that you need to give BV some time, but he felt like maybe you should get rid of Ted Roof. Fine, that's fine. I didn't mind the comment at all. Now, what Mr. Wiley was saying, he kind of went on with Roof, but more or less he was trying to just really bash Venables. But at the same time, really giving love to Lincoln Riley, the departed Lincoln Riley. Normally, I would just go back and forth with you in the comments section. On this one, I felt like, hey, this is worthy of a video. I got to say. But so I want to read to you what he said. He said, I am from that same school. I was with Switzer, 77 to 81. I agree with you on Roof. However, as for Brent, he should not have been hired. Old at age 50. There he goes with that. No head coaching experience. Booed out of OU. Sent packing to a lesser conference, the ACC. Became defensive coordinator at Clemson. All of a sudden, Brent is this great coach. Really? Why? Look at Washington Huskies. New coach. Team has to learn offense and defensive schemes. Look at LSU. New coach. Team has to learn offense and defensive schemes. Look at Notre Dame. New coach, new team, has to learn offenses and defensive schemes. No, they don't. Their defensive coordinator became head coach, and they still have the same offensive coordinator. Look at Oregon. New coach, team has to learn new offensive and defensive schemes. He's trying to compare Venables to these guys. I don't know how much they've changed up there. I know that they haven't had to change out as many players as what really is the main thing going on at Oklahoma is that 44% of the roster turned over. They don't have Caleb Williams. Good grief. He says, I can go on, but with other teams, which are in the same boat as OU, no, they're not. The tip of the iceberg is the USC Trojans. 4-8 in 2021. New head coach Lincoln Riley. With experience, he had to replace 50-plus football players, including the college football portal, using the college football portal, which is available to everyone. All of these so-called Sooner fans have did nothing but make excuses for Brent. It is not just Brent, also Roof, and more importantly, I'm not going to read what he said there. It has nothing to do with anyone that we were speaking on anyway. Is a cheap shot at Oklahoma and at Venables and at this other coach, and I'm not even gonna talk about it on here. Let me go on to the rest of it. And then there's Dylan Gabriel, who was almost enrolled at UCLA. The other part of the story, which the media got right, and true OU fans, there was not going to be a battle at quarterback. UCLA already have a proven quarterback in Dorian Thompson-Robinson. The only battle was if Caleb Williams was going to UCLA. We all knew he was going to go to SC, and rightfully so. So he only came to OU because of Lincoln Riley. Okay. A note for Sooner fans. This is for the fake, phony, denial, and delusional Sooner fans. Okay. Benny Owen, Bud Wilkinson, Barry Switzer, Lincoln Riley, they were all in their 30s when they became head coach at OU. Benny Bud Barry is in the College Football Hall of Fame. Lincoln, with his record at OU and so far doing quite well at SC, will join also, maybe. And yes, Bob Stoops was 39 or 40 and became a member of the College Football Hall of Fame in 21. Last and not least, OU defense became defenseless, though, under Bob Stoops, passed on to Lincoln Riley. At least Riley got rid of Mike Stoops, and Riley passed on OU defense defenseless to Brent, who was part of Bob Stoops' original staff. Yes, we know. Okay. So, hey, folks, Jason Watkins, Hall of Fame, College Football Podcast. If you'd like to help support our show, we have a fabulous way for you to do so. We have teamed up with the #1 team merchandise retailer in the world, Fanatics. That's right, Fanatics. Now, the next time you need a new hat for your favorite team, shirt, even memorabilia, all you have to do is go to our website first, hofmedia.us/fanatics. That's hofmedia.us/fanatics. At the bottom of the page, there is a blue Fanatics logo. You click on it, then shop as normal. You're going to get up to 65% off everything in the store, and we get a small commission for everything you purchase. It's a win-win. So again, hofmedia.us/fanatics. That's hofmedia.us/fanatics. You help the show and save a bunch by doing so. It's a win-win situation, and we get to continue bringing you fabulous content week after week. So that's a lot to unpack, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. Okay. The first thing I would say is that Lincoln's doing what Lincoln does well. You know, he coaches offenses with elite quarterbacks, puts up eye-popping numbers like only he does, you know. Now, USC is not going to beat the best teams from year to year because Lincoln really doesn't have it in him to put somebody in place that's going to have even like a top 30 defense in the country, and that would make his team be completely unstoppable. Now, he's always going to look good aside from those couple of games each season when he isn't able to outscore everybody, okay? I still think, though, it's too early for us to put judgment on Coach Venables like that, okay? Even you said, Brian, It was Stoops who allowed the defense to fall apart under his watch. Okay. He brought little brother Mike back to town. And in that time, he's pushed Brent to Clemson and into the loving arms of old Dabo Swinney. Okay. Lincoln's hire as head coach perpetuated the problem. It made them appear a lot less serious because of the way his quarterbacks could take apart an opposing defense. That is, of course, unless it's an SEC or Clemson defense led by Venables in the college football playoff. But allow me to reiterate what JP and I were talking about in the video, okay? Because clearly you didn't get that far before you decided to go in on Brent and espouse those many amazing talents of old dry brisket Lincoln. We talked about how quickly so many Sooner fans, and apparently you too, Brian, forget about Lincoln's last ride in Norman last season. OU had 6, count them, 6 one-score wins that probably very easily could have went the other way, but 6 one-score wins and starting off 9-0, all right? What nobody seems to recall, whether it be in Norman or wherever you may be, they could have lost 4 or 5 last year pretty easily. Just think about it. If it wasn't for the heroics of Caleb Williams, what happens in the Texas game? The Red River Miracle. What happens in that game? Spencer Rattler wasn't getting it done. Deer in headlights. 2 years in a row, deer in headlights in that game. All right. Oh, yeah. Then there's the Tulane game that Oklahoma ended up winning 40-35. A game that was supposed to be in New Orleans. A hurricane moves it to Norman, and they barely win 40-35. Yes, I know Tulane is okay this year. They weren't that good. All right. Particularly to be that close in Norman. So there's a 5-point win. Another touchdown, they get beat. Then there's what about that 23-17 win over Nebraska? That same Nebraska team that now twice in 2 seasons has lost to Northwestern. Yeah, that could have been a loss too. Nebraska. There was Kansas State. There was quite a few of these games that very easily could have went the other way. I could go on and on about this too, just like, to combat all that positive shine that you're throwing onto Riley while tossing as much shade as you possibly can on Brent Venables, right? Let me just say that it seems like the even more deadly now Caleb Williams may be masking some problems there at SC. Although he just got there, so it may be a while before anyone sees through the facade that Lincoln tore down at OU before leaving under the cloak of darkness and then quickly reassembled after he got back to sunny California. All right. I don't personally have much doubt that Coach Venables is going to get this OU defense on track if everybody gives him the opportunity, that is. Now, I tend to wonder whether you'd ever be able to admit that you were wrong about old man Brent. Whether he has the ability to build a winner in Norman, given that this is his first opportunity as the head coach. And you know what? Coach Venables is clearly going through a few growing pains. There's no doubt about it. This is his first time as a head coach. They all do. All right. But I tend to believe that he'll figure things out before too long. I mean, we are talking about a guy, 8 of the last 10 seasons, Clemson, top 10 in the country defenses. Numerous All-Americans, numerous first-round draft picks, 2 national titles, 2 more appearances in the national championship game. Their defenses are insane. I figured that that's going to work out. Now, the other thing that really makes me, and this is something we talked about, JP and I as well, is that as much as anything, I mean, I don't think that there's any doubt about him turning the defense around, especially once he starts recruiting the kind of guys that he wants for the defense. All right. But the other thing that really gives I think it should give a lot of Oklahoma fans hope is the fact that he talks all the time about not taking shortcuts. Not taking shortcuts when you're winning, and not forgetting that discipline and attention to detail are the cure for losing. He said it's the same if you win 1 or 11. He says it all the time. He said it before when they were winning. He said it since they started losing a few games. He talks about it all the time. It's about consistency, having a consistent approach to excellence, no matter what part of the game it is, including defense, whatever. Now, what was lacking in the program may not have seemed so debilitating the last few seasons, Brian, but that's only because there's been first-round quarterback talent on the roster every year. To make this clearly gifted offensive mind, like Lincoln's, look completely unstoppable. But let's not forget that Venables' mind for wreaking havoc on an offense is equal to Lincoln's offensive genius. All right? He's the architect of perennial top 10 defenses. Like I just said, 2 national titles, 2 more appearances in the national title game. I mean, he was the offensive, or he was the defensive coordinator in 2000 when Oklahoma won its last one. When was the last time Clemson did anything before Coach V got there? I don't remember him doing anything. And I do know this. That 2016 title for Clemson, it had been 35 seasons since they had won one before that. And say what you will, but Coach V was as big a part of why the Tigers won in 16 and 20 as anything. Ask Dabo Swinney what he thinks. He'll tell you. So, say what you will, but I think that that's a clear, obvious thing that he was a big deal, a big part of that. I venture to say that he'll figure out his coaching staff better than we will, Brian. But I admit, you've got a knack for painting a picture of doom and gloom for one program while creating a stunning distraction of the truth for the other. I know it's very popular right now also to trash on Ted Roof, as often as humanly possible too. And that's a popular thing to do right now. It is. But, I guess that's fair. Clearly it's his fault that Oklahoma hasn't played a lick of defense in 13 years or so. Couldn't have had anything to do with Venables leaving. Surely not. Still, I think if it's all the same to you, I'm going to take a wait and see approach with Venables and Ted Roof. Though I would agree with you, Roof's personality makes him and his boss an easy target for haters like you. I get it. In the end, all JP and I were trying to say was to give old man Brent a little bit of time. See how things go. Neither of us said you should give 5 years to show progress, but at least the rest of this year and next, maybe. Maybe we should wait until at least then to chop off his head and hunt down the next OU head to put on the block. Is that too much to ask?
And make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey, folks, this is Jason Watkins of the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. I don't want to talk to you about college football right now. I'm going to tell you about the human cheat code for fantasy football. My co-host, Bryce Pinson. I'm telling you, he's kind of full of crap when it comes to college football. But I got to tell you, when it comes to fantasy football, whether it's college or the pros, only this dude gets it. This dude is the man. He gets it right. 9 out of 10 times, Bryce has it right. 9 out of 10 times. And it's happened it's happened year after year after year. The playoffs are coming right now, and if you don't want to get second, third, or not even be in contention, you better get in there and start paying attention to what he's talking about. Fantasy Sports _Bryce on TikTok. That's Fantasy Sports _Bryce on TikTok. Follow him if you want to win.